Hey, everybody, this is Catherine Perry, the Big Vision Coach and founder of Commanding Well Seminars, and I have with me the incredible Rhonda Knight Boyle. Hey, Rhonda, how are you?
Hey, I am great, Catherine. I am so happy to see you and be with you today.
I am so excited. Well, I could try to tell everybody everything that you're up to, who you are, but take a minute and introduce yourself and what you do and who you help.
You bet. I am Rhonda Boyle with rhondaboyle.com. It's that simple. And I am a coach and I work with coaches helping them be more, have more, and get more coaching business.
Now, you said that a lot of your coaches, they are usually in the game about 3 years or less.
Mm-hmm.
What's the big challenge that you help people with?
Well, often they come out of their training having spent an enormous amount of money. Tens of thousands would not be unusual with certifications because they're often thirsty for more knowledge around coaching, and oftentimes that's how they get their credentials. And then they come home with that amazing, shiny new certification and they hang their shingle out and the people don't come and they don't know what to do. And then after doing a few things to try to get out there, oftentimes they will go and sign up for another certification.
Yeah.
Instead of working on their marketing.
The marketing stuff. So when it comes to, of course, marketing is a whole education in itself. It's actually an art, right? That can be measured, and there's some science to it, but really there's an art to it. But what is the mindset shift? Like, what are you able to take people, like, I know when I've worked with people and I say, okay, it's time to start marketing. What's the biggest mindset shift that a coach has to go through in order to really embrace marketing?
Well, it's not embrace marketing so much as it is embracing their vision. And that's really how I help them get launched into the right space. Because when they come out, and they first start, they're kind of wandering around in the desert and spending money that they don't get a return on, or they don't know how to measure that. And so all of that has to do with the missing links in the foundations of what they see for their business, for their coaching business.
Right.
So I'm able to help them see what it is and feel and know what they're called to and who they're called to serve in their coaching practice. And then I move them to the next place.
That is so exciting.
It is fun and amazing.
Well, the world is, calling them. They hear the call, and then they get tripped up on this one little basic thing that every business gets immediately. They always think about the marketing before they would even think about the service and how they provide it and everything. So everybody gets turned around on that.
They do.
I'm just want to share that, I had a little personal glitch on my marketing, and, I put too much pressure on myself for a while. And then it was, I just found I was doing all this stuff, and then I was doing stuff, and I wasn't actually doing marketing. It was marketing-like stuff, which is what a lot of coaches fall into. And then it was exactly that, getting in alignment with my purpose. And someone said, well, Catherine, when you meet God, right, and all this is over, what do you want to do, right? And I was like, well, how would I feel? I was like, well, I think I'll kind of be okay. But the thing that I remember saying, and it just shifted everything, I said, I feel like there was this big call in my life, and I also feel like because my own healing comes through the work that I do, there are people who are called to be my students. And I don't want to be in heaven and look at the people that I had promised to serve and say, guys, really sorry I couldn't get it figured out. I just could not get my marketing lined out. But next life will do that, right? So that's
but guaranteed you're going to have to do it in the next life if
Yeah, I
if
still
that is
will,
so.
right? But I did not have to
Right.
say, I really would have served you and kept my promise. And, remember the promise between me, you, and God and the universe? It's like, I just could not figure out social media. It was just too much. So I gave up.
That won't do.
Not at all. Well, and some of the things, you and I know each other because you got introduced first to the book, The One Command, and you wanted to know more about it. And then you and I connected. And
I know. I can't even believe it. I had been trying to do the One Command, and
yeah,
by myself periodically, I'd put the book down and a few weeks later pick it up again, and then I'd put it down again because I really need that. There is something valuable in community. And I'll never forget stumbling upon your Facebook group and just squealing. I was so excited to have found you. And really, the community is what brings this to life. Yeah. So that's very much what I have appreciated the most,
Yeah, and we appreciated you being part of the community. And then you and I, that first conversation, we just knew we found
right.
She's in Oklahoma and I'm in Texas, and so we kind of understand
right.
each other.
We do.
And so part of the reason that we're talking is I have the Commanding Wealth program coming out, and part of that is people are going to have the chance to work with me in the group, and there's some opportunities to work with me one-on-one. What was your experience in working with the group in the, let's say in the class that you took? Because it was an online class, very much like the one I'm presenting.
It was great. I mean, I loved the community. There were, I can't remember how many people were in the class, probably 18 or 26.
Well, we kind of had this rotating thing. I think there was about 25 or so, but then we had about a good solid 12 to 15 that might be able to make it to the calls.
Right. Yeah. So what I found was that, just listening and the chat in the chat box, being able to talk to other people and, just kind of cheer them on.
Yeah, and hot seats and demonstrations.
Yes.
I mean,
yes, exactly. Because even though you're working in that group setting and you work with someone else, I still got value every time you worked with someone else. There's always a way to apply to your own life, even though it may be someone else. And I think that's probably because we're all connected.
Yeah.
And so it's like everybody connects and we're kind of all together, even though we don't know one another and the relationships may not extend beyond that. There's still something valuable. And then when you can always go back, and I remember once or twice I had to do the recording.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'd much rather be on the live personally. Yeah. So.
Well, you said that you had a pretty extraordinary result from that program. And what was it that happened?
Well, I've actually had multiple results that have happened. I think one of the first things that happened, and that was the result of me using the One Command, but really after getting involved with you and working with you, I guess I would say that I learned how to do it better, and I have been able to maintain my ideal weight for 2 years, more than 2 years. It'll be 2 years. Well, no, it's right around 2 years because I mentioned it to my husband this morning, and it is. And I have my little process, I step on the scale every morning and look down, and it is. And I always say, wow, I don't know how I maintain my ideal weight. And as I'm getting in the shower, I say, I only know that I do. It is. And this is the thing that you teach that's so dramatic, is that it is. By our word, it is.
Yeah.
By our word, it is.
Yeah. And the authority of your word. You're speaking as an authority. You're not asking or wishing or hoping. You are commanding.
You're commanding. So that's just one
Oh, what
thing.
else?
Yeah, so probably I'm trying to think. It was it was last year, several months ago, but I landed the largest contract I've ever had in my coaching practice.
That's
So
wonderful.
it is, and it was, it came about suddenly and unexpectedly. That's
Mhm.
the beauty. Again, I'm going to go back to what you teach, is that when you make that command, it is, and you get to let it go.
Mhm.
And then guess what, Catherine?
What?
You get to be surprised and delighted when it comes.
Yeah, it really is. It does seem like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. And we almost forget that we made the command, right? We go,
We
oh
did it.
yeah.
Hey, we did it. And, I think some of that has to do with not being able to actually see it clearly. It's just kind of
Mhm.
fuzzy. And some of us don't see, we feel, and some
Right,
of us have to think about it for a while before
right.
we really are clear on it. And all of that is okay.
Yeah. Well, we discovered that what you're saying in the group too, because things would manifest so quickly, they would forget it. And like I think one of the very first people that were in the Commanding Wealth Circle with me, she said, I need this new computer equipment that's quite, because I'm a designer and I write books. And she said, I really need some specific software. It's all quite expensive and I need a much better grade of computer than what I can go down to Best Buy and get right at the time. And so we did a command for that because she said there's no way I could have at the time that would have been a $15,000 to $20,000 investment with all the software and everything she needed. She came the next month and she said, "Oh, guess what? My company upgraded all their software, which was fine, but I got to keep the license, so they passed all the software to me, and then they had all these computers because they bought this whole new system, and so now I actually have a better computer than what I was asking for, right?" But she said,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh yeah, no," but she kind of reported like, "Oh, this cool thing just happened. I got this software, I got the computer, right?" And then we went, "Do you remember you commanded for that last month?" And she went, "Oh, that's right." So
How do we forget? I
yeah,
just don't
but because it's
understand.
released, right? Because it becomes our normal way of being, right? And we're so used to getting into a group and commiserating and go, "It's okay. And I'm so sorry that happened to you." And that's important. And what we don't get is that witnessing of each other's greatness and
Mm-hmm.
that support from saying, I knew you could do it all along, and to remind us of our value and that, yeah, what we are speaking and wanting and desire is actually happening because we're always on to that next thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's part of our humanity, is that we're called to expand. I mean, we're expanding every minute of every day, and it time speeds by so quickly that we're so distracted by things around us that we don't notice sometimes how.
Right.
I mean, really, like Catherine, when you're out and about and you're like, wow, it's getting close to lunch and you're thinking, I sure would love a taco salad, and bink, right there on the corner.
Right.
And do you really think, look what I just manifested?
No, you were like, see, there
Never.
it is. Oh, it just happened to be. We think, oh, what a happy accident or whatever. But
Yes.
yeah,
It's like we're unconscious. Hello. We
yeah,
are unconscious most of the
yeah. I
time.
mean,
And
and that's
so,
part of what the process teaches, like how to have this new awareness of yourself and your environment and your awaken, right? Because we are in a trance most of the time.
yes.
So you're maintaining your health. You've had the biggest
Hmm.
contract of your life. And like for you with working with commanding wealth and that process, is it kind of as you need it, or is it like, do you do it on a meditation? People do it a lot of different ways. How do you apply it?
Yes, there are different, I do it in different ways. And you know what else? I forget to do it,
Yeah.
which is why I have to keep coming back.
Yeah.
I keep turning up like a bad penny because I need you. I mean, that's just really the reality. Again, I go
Yeah.
back to the community piece.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you step out of no, let me rephrase because it's for me. When
Yeah.
I step out of community, then I can do it to some degree on my own, like I said,
Yeah.
with the weight loss. I've created, that's like a little ritual I've created.
Yeah.
Get naked, step on the scale, you say a little joyful, wow, how fun is that?
Yeah. Still looking good.
Looking good, whatever it takes. No, but what happens is, because when I started that command, and we don't have to continuously make that command. However, for me, it's become like a celebration. Do you see?
Yeah.
It's not an obligation. It's more of a joyful, wow, how cool am I? Look what I created.
Yeah,
And
reaffirming.
yeah, so but then again, I go back to, we always are expanding. We're always working on new things, and we always need to kind of come back and relearn. It's not a relearning, it's a getting back into habits
Right.
and so forth, because I can go days and forget to meditate.
Yeah, until you go, why am I cranky? Why is everything not happening?
That's right. That's right. But through the work, through this type of work, I've learned, when things are not comfortable, and when I need to go back,
Right.
And so there you are.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, like with the circles, they start, all of this started, there was a class, I had my initial experience, but what was really powerful in the experience was the first time I said out loud to a group of people what I wanted. Because we're kind of taught, don't brag when things are going well.
Yes.
And don't tell people what you want, because they'll wind up, one, you'll think, your unconscious mind will think you already have it. But then the other thing is, people will kind of unconsciously sabotage you, or they'll argue with you, right? But if you're with this group that you speak it and they're reaffirming back, for one, that is so powerful, because then you get that feeling of support, and then you start replicating that out in the world, right?
Right.
But then they are holding you. It's like, it's been said that we're the sum total of the thoughts of other people, right? And so how they're seeing us and their beliefs, and if this creates a belief in you, and so it's like, once you make that statement, or you go, this is what I want, even though someone may speak the truth to you and say, well, what about this? Or if there's a correction or adjustment, you can absolutely trust that there's no agenda there, because who they're speaking to is that greater part of you, right? And so you wind up expanding, and then when something good happens for you, it's like it happens for everybody, and then everyone's their ability to create what they want's enhanced. And that happens in the classes and circles, and every time there's a group. And people forget about the importance of how we get to borrow the benefits, like you said, when someone was in a hot seat, right, and they were getting their process. It's called borrow benefits. So as somebody gets their healing and their breakthrough, you get to borrow that. But then if someone's got strength and resources, that you wind up getting that too at this deeper unconscious level. So that's why it's important to be part of a group as you're learning, because you're expanding your capacity to learn as you do that. So there we go. I sound very, like I'm a group leader or something. But
well, Catherine, it's been just an amazing experience working with you. So
well, thank you.
Yes.
Well, one of the things, speaking of working with me, one of the things that I, when people get to sign up for this, they, the first 20 will actually get gifted 2 sessions with me, one at the start and one at the end. Do you think that's, I know.
It's like, y'all better jump on that. That's all I'm going to say.
I got all excited about offering this, but why do you think that would be a good deal? I mean, like, as far as like to have that individual coaching before, right?
Because I think it gives us an opportunity to really have you individualize us in a sense, and really understand our individual needs, so that when we do go on the hot seat with the group, or we are chatting about something or asking a question in the chat box, you know exactly how to answer in the words that we need to hear.
Right. Yeah. So we'll have that deeper connection together.
Mhm.
Well, perfect. Oh, well, thank you so much.
You bet.
Now you've got stuff going on. You have a Facebook group,
I
and
do.
got guys, you really want to tune into what Rhonda's doing, and she's even got, challenges and all kinds of things happening. And you've got a TV show. What's the name of your show?
Coach Talk TV.
Coach Talk TV. Yes.
It
And
is. And
so
you will be a guest soon, Catherine, for sure.
absolutely, absolutely. And so we'll have a link to your Facebook page. Be sure and do that so that you can get into Rhonda's world.
Yep.
And stay tuned with what all the amazing stuff. Just anything she puts out is top notch, and I always look forward to watching it myself. Anything that she puts out, I just get excited. She has this joy of life, and that she
Thank
just
you.
sparks this. And but she's so she's a smart cookie, but she's so committed to everyone's growth too. And so I can highly recommend her and her work. And so be sure and get tuned into
Well,
there.
same thing for you, Catherine, for sure. I look forward to working with you in the future as, we go along, because I appreciate all that has transpired in my life since being connected with you. So thank you.
I appreciate you. All right, my
Bet.
darling. Well, thank you so much. And thanks everybody who took time to be with us today. And we will see you in Commanding Wealth. All right, my darlings. Until next time, this is Catherine Perry and Rhonda Knight Foyle. And
Thank
we
you.
witness your mastery. Bye-bye.